Hare Krishna. Welcome to all devotees. Now we start today's Bhagavatam class. Jai Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayana Namaskrutyam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tata Jayam Udiret Nashtapraya भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्ति भवती नैष्टिकी. Hare Krishna, Dandot Pranam. Today we try to understand shloka from Srimad Bhagwatam, Canto 11, chapter 18, descriptions of the Vanaprastha Dharma. Next. Are you hearing?
You are Lord. You are, yes, Mataji. You are audible.
But the screen is not here.
Or Mataji, your connection issue. You can read from your book.
13 to 20. Ishtva etha upadesham mam dattva sarvasvam rutvije agnin swaprana aveshya nirapeksha parivrajet viprasya vai sanyasata devaha dara adirupina vignan kurvanti ayam hi asmana akramya samiyat param. Bibhruyat chet munivas kopina achadhanam param tektam na danda patrabhyam anyat kinchit anapadi drushti putam naset padam vashraputam pibet jalam satyaputam vadet vacham manaputam samacharet. Mauna aniya anila ayam danda vagdeha chetasa nahi ete yasya santi anga venubhina bhavet yati bhiksham chaturshu varneshu vigaryan varjayan charet sapta agaran asapruptan stusheta labdena pavata. Bhai ashram gatva tatropasprisho vakyata vibhajya pavitam shesham bhujita ashesham avrutam eko charit maima etam nisangaha sanyata indriya atmakrida atmarata atmavan samadarshana. Purport by the Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Having worshipped me according to scriptural injunctions and having given all one's property to the sacrificial priest, one should place the fire sacrifice within oneself. Thus, with the mind completely detached, one should enter the sannyasa order of life. This man taking sannyasa is going to surpass us and go back to Godhead. Thus thinking, the demigod creates stumbling blocks on the path of the sannyasi by appearing before him in the shape of his former wife or other women, an attractive object. But the sannyasi should pay the demigods and their manifestation unknown heed. If the sannyasi desire to wear something beside a mere kaupin, he may use another cloth around his waist and hips to cover the kaupin. Otherwise, if there is no emergency, he should not accept anything beside his danda and water pot. A saintly person should step or place his foot on the ground only after verifying with his eyes that there are no living creatures such as insects who might be injured by his foot. He should drink water only after filtering it through a portion of his cloth, and he should speak only words that possess the purity of truth. Similarly, he should perform only those activities his mind has carefully ascertained to be pure. One who has not accepted the three internal disciplines of avoiding useless speech, avoiding useless activities, and controlling the life air can never be considered a sannyasi merely because of his carrying bamboo rods. Rejecting those houses that are polluted and untouchable. One should approach without previous calculation 7 houses and be satisfied with that which is obtained there by begging. According to necessity, one may approach each of the four occupational orders of society. Taking the food gathered through begging, one should leave the populated areas and go to a reservoir of water in a secluded place. There, having taken a bath and washed one's hands thoroughly, one should distribute portions of the food to others who may request it. One should do this without speaking. Then, having thoroughly cleansed the remnants, one should eat everything on one's plate, leaving nothing for future consumption without any material attachment, with senses fully controlled, remaining enthusiastic and satisfied in realization of the Supreme Lord and his own self. The saintly person should travel about the earth alone, having equal vision everywhere. He should be steady on the spiritual platform. Purport by the Srila Prabhupada. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. One cannot maintain the sannyasa order of life unless one gives up all materialistic association and engages exclusively in devotional service to the Supreme Lord. Any material desire will gradually prove to be a stumbling block in the prosecution of renounced life. Therefore, a liberated sannyasi must vigilantly keep himself free from the weights of material desire, which surface principally in the form of attachment to women, money, and reputation. One may possess a beautiful garden filled with fruits and flowers, but without vigilant maintenance, the garden will be overrun by weeds. Similarly, one who achieves a beautiful state of Krishna consciousness takes the sannyasa order of life. But if he does not vigilantly and painstakingly keep his heart clean, there is always the danger of a relapse into illusion. The demigods are empowered with the universal administration and by their potency may appear as the former life of a sannyasi or as other women, so that the sannyasi give up his strict vows and becomes entangled in sense gratification. Lord Krishna here encourage all sannyasis by telling them, pay no attention to such illusory manifestation. Continue your duties and go back home, back to Godhead. A sannyasi attracted to material possession will spoil his worship of Lord Krishna. While walking, a saintly person is careful not to kill any tiny creatures on the ground. Similarly, he filters his drinking water through cloth to avoid swallowing small creature living within the water. Speaking untruth simply for sense gratification is detrimental to devotional service and should be avoided. Speaking impersonal philosophy and glorifying the sense gratification of the material world, even that found in heavenly planets, contaminates the heart and must be avoided by those desiring perfection in the loving service of the Lord. By serious consideration, one can understand that any activity other than devotional service to Lord Krishna has no ultimate value. Therefore, one should exclusively engage in the purified activities of Krishna consciousness. The word danda indicates the staff carried by those in the renounced order of life, and danda also indicates severe discipline. The Varnashram Vaishnava sannyasis accept a staff made of 3 bamboo rods, signifying dedication of the body, mind, and words to the service of the Supreme Lord. Here, Lord Krishna says that one must first accept these 3 dandas or disciplines, namely control of the wise, body, and mind within oneself. The practice of the anila, anilayam or pranayam, regulating the life air, is meant to control the mind. And one who always thinks of service to Lord Krishna has certainly achieved the perfection of pranayam, merely carrying the 3 eternal dandas without assimilating the internal dandas of bodily, mental, and vocal discipline can never make one an actual Vaishnava sannyasis, as explained here by Lord Krishna in the House Gita section of Mahabharata, and in Srila Rupa Goswami Upadeshamrut, there are instructions regarding the sannyasa order of life. A conditioned soul who adopts only the external ornaments of Tridandi sannyasa will not actually be able to control the senses. One who takes sannyasa for false prestige, making a show of saintliness without actual advancement in Krishna Kirtan, will soon be vanquished by external energy of the Lord. Saintly person in the renounced order of life may beg from strict followers Vedic cultures to obtain foodstuffs and other bodily necessities. According to Vedic injunction, a renowned saint should beg from the Brahmana community, but if there is danger of his starving, he may beg from Kshatriyas, then Vaishyas, and even Shudras if they are not sinful, as expressed here by the word Vigarhan. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur explains that a sub group third indicates that one should not approach certain houses calculating in that place I can get first class food. That house has a big reputation among beggars. Without discriminating, one should go to 7 houses and be satisfied with whatever may be obtained there. One should beg for one's personal maintenance only from houses where the inhabitants, being sincere followers of the Varnashram culture, have earned their livelihood by honest means and are free from sinful activities. One may beg alms from such householders. One must not beg alms for one's personal maintenance from those who oppose the Supreme Lord's devotional service. For such service is the whole purpose of Varnashram culture. Those who oppose Vedic cultures pass laws to make begging by saintly person a criminal act. Thus, they insult and persecute saintly beggars, considering them to be ordinary vagrants. A lazy person begging to avoid work is certainly abominable. But a saintly person dedicated to the service of the Lord and practicing the discipline of begging to develop full dependence on the Lord's mercy should be given all facility in human society. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur explains that there are 3 forms of collecting alms. Madhukar is the process of imitating the bee who collects a tiny amount of nectar from each flower. In this way, the saintly person accepts a very small amount from each person, avoiding social conflicts. The process mentioned here, a subgroup by which one discriminately approaches 7 houses, being satisfied with whatever may be obtained. Praka Pranita is that process by which one establishes regular donors and collects one's maintenance from them. In this regard, Srila Viraraghava Acharya has described the initial stage of sannyasa called Kutichak as follows. A man accepting the initial stage of sannyasa arranges for his children or other relatives and well-wishers to build him a kuti or meditation cottage. He gives up worldly affairs and sits within the cottage, trying to remain free from lust, anger, greed, illusion, and so on. According to the prescribed injunctions of regulated life, he accepts a tridanda, purifies himself with a water pot, shaves his head, leaving a shikha or tube, chants Gayatri mantra on the sacred thread and wears saffron garments, bathing regularly, cleansing, performing achman, chanting japa, studying the Vedas, remaining celibate, and meditating on the Lord. He receives regular supplies of food from his children, friends, and relatives, accepting only the bare necessities of life. He remains fixed in his cottage up to the moment of liberation. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur explains that a saintly person should not argue or quarrel with materialistic person who may request or demand part of his foodstuff. The word vibhajya indicates that one should give something to such person to avoid disturbance, and then offering the remnants to Lord Vishnu, one should eat everything on one's plate without saving food for the future. The word bahi indicates that one should not eat in a public place, and vakyata indicates that one should eat silently, meditating upon the Lord's mercy. One who remains attached to material sense gratification cannot be studied in the process of chanting Hare Krishna. Being shackled by illusory desire, he is not able to fully control the senses. Actually, one should take shelter of devotional service to Lord Krishna 24 hours a day. For by such service, one remains within the scope of spiritual reality by chanting and hearing the holy names of the Lord along with the Lord's glories and pastime. One naturally drifts away from the field of material sense gratification. Good association with Lord Krishna and his devotees automatically vanquishes useless material association, and one is able to carry out the Vedic injunctions meant to lift the conditioned soul out of the material field and onto the liberated platform of Krishna consciousness. In this regard, Srila Rupa Goswami states in his Updeshamrut 4, Dadati pratigrunnati goyam akhyati pruchati bhungte bhojayate eva shadvidam priti lakshanam. Next, offering gifts in charity, accepting charitable gifts, revealing one's mind in confidence, inquiring confidential, accepting prasadam, and offering prasadam are the 6 symptoms of love shared by one devotee and another. One who thus learns to associate with the Lord's devotees actually remains insulated from the contamination of material life. By pure association, one gradually understands the name, form, qualities, associates, pastimes, and devotional service of the Lord Sri Krishna. And thus, even in this lifetime, one can become a resident of the spiritual world. In the association of pure devotees, there is no material contamination and no useless discussion. Since all pure devotees are fully engaged 24 hours a day in the loving service of the Lord. By the influence of such devotees, one develops equal vision, samadarshana, and sees the realized knowledge of Krishna consciousness everywhere. As one begins to understand his eternal relationship with Lord Krishna, he becomes Atmaman, situated in his constitutional position. And advanced Vaishnava constantly enjoying the mellows of loving devotional service and carrying out the mission of the Lord on the earth is Atma Krida. One who enjoys life within the internal potency of the Supreme Lord. The advanced devotee remains constantly attracted to the Supreme Lord and his devotees and is therefore Atmarat, fully satisfied by constant engagement in devotional service. One cannot possibly develop the exalted qualities mentioned here without becoming an unalloyed devotee of Krishna. One who is envious of the Lord and his devotees becomes attracted to bad association gradually loses control of the senses and falls down into the network of impious life. The innumerable varieties of non-devotees are like branches sprouting from the single tree of enviousness of the Supreme Lord Krishna, and their association should be given up by all means. Without unalloyed devotional service to the Lord, one loses touch with the desire and mission of the personality of God and becomes attracted to worshipping the wonderful male and female creations of the Lord's illusory energy. Demigoddesses, celebrities, politicians, prostitutes, etc. In this way, one foolishly considers something besides Lord Krishna to be supremely wonderful. Actually, Lord Krishna is the only true objects of worship for those desiring to experience unlimited beauty and pleasure. By seriously taking to Krishna consciousness, one can realize the transcendental position of Lord Krishna and gradually develop all of the qualities mentioned in this verse. Thus end the purpose no prayer. Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Ena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Ena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Tapada Kamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavancha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatanitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Deva Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Sri Vishakanvitancha Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Vivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarine Vancha Kalpatarubhecha Krupa Sindhube Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namah Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna. Dandot Pranam. In this shloka, the chapter's name is the description of the Varnashram Dharma. So here they describing about the Sannyasa Dharma, what he do, how many homes he go to beg, all these, and he take three danda. What is the three danda meaning? All are describing in this shloka. Prabhuji will tell you in detail. Hare Krishna Dandot Pranam. Pancha Kalpatarubhecha Krupa Sindhube Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavabhyo Namo Namah.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Mataji. What strikes most in these shlokas is a statement wherein it is mentioned that even after reaching the sannyasa stage, even after if you have taken a sannyasa, and if it is not as per the scriptures, then just making show of saintliness without actual advancement in Krishna Kirtana, such persons, such sannyasa will be vanquished by external energy of Lord. External energy means Maya. So it is very important that we try to make actual advancement in Krishna Kirtana. Hare Krishna. Vancha kalpatarubhya kripa sindhubhaya patitanam pavanebhyo